Yes. Hello, I'm Linnea Quigley, and I'm here with IHTV. Well, let me try all the languages. Ciao. Um, Arriba. Hello. Okay. Yeah, probably that's a good idea. HGB, Buried Village Films, which is myself and James Sato and some other people are going to announce Herschel Gordon Lewis's Slaughterhouse, which is going to be directed by certain horror icons, 5 vignettes, and yes, maybe I might be one of the directors, first time directing, and some other very cool people that I think I'll keep you on the tip of your seats for right now on the others. Yeah, I'm excited. It's going to be late spring and it's going to be in Calgary, right around in Canada, right around that area. So 2014. I I got into acting when I moved from Iowa to LA. And I worked at a Jack LaLanne's health spa. And these girls that worked there had grown up in Southern California and they wanted to be actresses and models. And so I kind of followed them. I was really shy and I followed them. And I ended up getting gigs that they didn't get, like extra work and standing in for different celebrities and just doing, you know, just being an extra dancer in a scene. And it grew and grew. And I got into horror because I think I liked horror, so I was attracted to it. And it became attracted to me because I ended up screaming very well and being scared very well until I started kicking ass and staying alive. I think you get better known and you stay alive longer the more that you're on screen because the people want to see you more. And also, you're taking scripts where you're more of the tough one and you don't die in the first 30 seconds of the movie. I did like this, the first death scene I ever had, I think, was in this movie where I was like a glorified extra in Stone Cold Dead or something like that, and they're showing my picture around some famous actor. I forget who it was, but it was Stone Cold Dead, I think was the first one. I got shot through a shower. There's so many things on Return of the Living Dead that I went through to make it. First of all, I didn't hand in my contract because it was horribly cold and wet. And I thought it was like the army. I didn't know if I was going to make it through. Uh, the first 3 weeks were all done in a man-made graveyard and also downtown LA. And they had rain machines in LA at night from like 5 o'clock in the afternoon till 6 in the morning. And then you go home, try to get some sleep, and then go back again and be cold and wet. So it was fun because I bonded with all the cast and crew, but it was also so grueling to do it. And there were a lot of nights everybody just went, okay, we got to make it through another day. We were going to war with that one. I think in LA the temperature's always, because it's the desert, it's a drop to the 60s usually at night. If I remember right, it was near the fall that we did it. So it was more like 60s at night, and then when you get wet your body starts like trembling, so you go down to probably 40 degrees in your body. So it was definitely very cold. I was grateful for when I danced on the tombstone because it was one time when it didn't rain. So it was like, even though I dreaded doing the dance and doing all that, I was like just so happy that it was dry. Brink was really good as a director. I haven't seen the final project yet, and I hope I do soon. But it was really interesting working with her because she was trying to act in it and direct it. So she did a really good job. Well, I had like a very strange experience on Silent Night, Deadly Night. The one girl wouldn't do nudity. And so I thought, because I was going to do my nudity, I would be rewarded, because she was rewarded by getting like this like tiny little diamond necklace. And I did mine, didn't cause a fuss or anything, and I never got a little diamond necklace. But it was really interesting to be lifted by Santa like 20 times up on antlers and having them stage a fight under me when I'm like trying not to breathe or the antlers are going to move on my body. Since I'll be directing it, of course I'll be acting in it because I'll have to cast myself. I mean, who else will I cast but myself? But I'll also cast some other talented people out there too. Oh man, I've been doing this for so many years. Directing will be like, I think, very come very easy to me because I've worked with some directors that, well, they couldn't direct. So I learned how to direct. I've gotten a lot of fan letters from women, especially like over the last probably 10 years. The women base has grown a lot. And I've gotten a lot of mail from women that just say they want to be like me and they want to get into acting. And I got them through some tough times and they like the strong characters I played. So I've gotten a lot of good feedback from the women who write me, or who I meet at the conventions. It's really changed a lot at conventions. The women are like starting to get close to the men's number. Yeah. Even though I guess I signed this little piece of paper on Silent Night, Deadly Night, so I haven't seen part two, but I heard they used all of part one pretty much in part two and just like had a dream sequence or something, or a flashback. Yeah, I have a really nice website, www.linnea-quigley.com, and people can order photographs. Or I've got to put up there a lot more things because now I have the Gore Zone up there that has to go up there, and I've got the skirt CDs and a lot of things like T-shirts. a lot more merchandise. But this year, I really didn't get time to devote to it as much as I could have because I was busy filming or conventions. I am so glad that the horror worker workout has gone viral because it was such a silly idea that Ken Hall and I had that we were working on a horror film and I had to like keep hitting somebody with a mallet, this really heavy mallet. And we decided it would be really fun to do a workout video because doing a horror film is like a workout. You're running, you're hitting, you're stabbing, you're doing a lot of physical stuff. So we thought putting it into a workout video and having a little, you know, pretty slumber party girls in it too to boot would just really liven it up. And a lot of people have had parties where they've had the horror workout playing and they've done the exercises. I think I think most of the films that I did, it was always hard to do the nudity. It was never easy because you feel like you're being judged and every time that you do a nude piece. But I don't really have any regrets. I try not to regret anything I did because it got to me to where I am now. So I try not to regret things. Well, David Goodfellow said he wanted to shoot me, not literally, but he wanted to take some photos of me. And so we started taking some photos, and it was going to be for Fangoria. And all of a sudden, Chris Alexander announced that he was going to put Gore Zone out again. So it just so happened that we got the pictures and we took more in Florida at my house into Gore Zone, which I'm really proud because, well, people can figure out my age, but it was really frightening to do a little bit. And, the help with David Goodfellow and Chris Alexander, I made it through it. Boy, I'm kind of a workaholic. I don't, for fun, I like to do things like, oh, this is horrible. This is so like normal. Shop and well, of course, rescue dogs, which was isn't it's fun for me. It's a good thing. Take my dogs to the park. Go to the beach, which is not very far. Just normal everyday things. Watch TV, watch movies. What kind of dogs do I have? I have, they're all three rescues from the shelter, a kill shelter that is. And the oldest one, who's probably about 15, is a Rottie mix named Lua. The second one is another Rottie mix named Mira. And the third is a dog that looks like it was on Little Rascals, the Petey dog with the little black eye. And that one's name is Gypsy. And she's only about a year old. The hair in Return of the Living Dead wasn't hard to wear. In fact, it kept my hair a little bit warm. But it was really, I do not like prosthetic face makeup because no matter, they always say This is not going to hurt your skin. It's medical adhesive, but they're using spirit gum. They're using all these chemicals and paint, and I hated it. I just like tried to tear it off. And I was also painted with this white paint that was waterproof. So I would have to go home and try, like with alcohol and just all kinds of horrible things to try to get some of it off so it wouldn't stick on everything I touched. We have the skirts have gotten together a few times. One was at a Spooky Empire in Fort Lauderdale, and only because the bass player is over on the other side of Florida, we don't get together, and we would love to play more for charity or for just playing because I love it. And we've used Joey Image like as our drummer, who is fantastic. He's played with the Misfits and is an amazing drummer. He went out once when we played with no rehearsal, and then the second time we played, he had a raging fever. So he's a great drummer. And Haiti's a great bass player. She's really good, Haiti Palmar. I loved on Night of the Demons working with Kevin Tenney because Kevin is a jokester. He like is just a really fun kid himself, and it was funny because he had a beard and mustache, which I think he's had forever. And one day he thought he would like, you know, make everybody laugh, and he shaved it off, and nobody noticed. So he told us like all at the end of the day, he felt so bad that nobody noticed that he had shaved off his beard and mustache, and then he let it grow in again. But he's like so fun, and I worked with him later on Witch Trap and got into his room and put all these plastic ants in his bed to just, you know, play with him because he is a kid. Well, probably, I guess the weirdest thing that I still don't know how to explain is when I was working on Return of the Living Dead, I got this I was sick with strep throat one night when I didn't have to film. And I got a call probably around 2 in the morning that was like when a stranger calls, and he said, I'm going to call you 3 times, and the third time you're going to die. And so I hung up the phone. He called back again, said the same thing. I hung up. I unplugged the phones because I didn't want to get the third call. And I got really scared. I called the production office because they were working all night and reported it. And they were trying to figure out how, because it was on location, how anybody could have gotten my phone number. And they were looking into it. I called the police. And then the next night I went to bed, unplugged the phones, and I woke up probably at 3 in the morning, and I noticed that my video player was blinking. And that meant the lights had gone out. I tried to turn on lights, and the lights weren't working. And it just was a fluke energy stoppage or something like that, that, you know, the power had gone off for some reason. But I was convinced. I went out and bought an M1 right away, and learned how to use it, and just so that this person wouldn't come and get me and kill me. I want to be a human in The Walking Dead. I've been a walker too many times, but I would love to be a human, and that's one of my favorite shows. I have always, since I was a little kid, been really passionate about animals, bringing home strays and saving animals and beating up guys that, were treating animals wrongly. So I think that I just was passionate at first, and then it grew when I was exposed to like different TV shows and videos and that my passion became more because I understood what is behind a lot of closed doors that they don't let the public know. So that's how I became really passionate about it. I don't drink. Oh boy, I haven't drank in probably 30 years because it just doesn't agree with me. But if I did, I would probably like, because I've sipped it before, hard cider. I still have not been able to watch the half dog scene. I cover my eyes every time and I hold my ears. I can't watch it. I still have not seen that scene yet. Does it look silly? Because I was just scared it would look real and I was terrified to think about that. It was really fun to be called to be a soul coming out of Freddy's chest because I like the Nightmare on Elm Street movies, and I think 4 was a very good film that they did, the Nightmare on Elm Street 4. And my husband at the time was doing the effects, and the director thought it would be kind of cute if I was one of the souls coming out. And it was a great experience, except the whole contraption fell to the ground, missing the cameraman and taking this like 64-year-old lady down to the ground on this. I don't know how big it was. It was like 2 stories, the chest. And she was rushed to the hospital, but she was fine. But that was a little bit scary when the whole contraption fell over and we were inside it. We weren't padded inside. We were on a couple apple boxes and we were covered in KY jelly, which is very slippery. And we were just like pushing our bodies against the dental dam so hard. And so when it fell over, we kind of got bruised, and a couple of the other guys were a lot bigger than me. So we just ended up with bruises, but it was just kind of scary. I like doing things like comedies and doing Playboy. It's I think well, not every girl's, but a lot of girls dream to do Playboy because all the men were always looking at it. But I enjoy doing comedy. I just did a musical comedy which was called The Unquenchable Thirst for Boner Juice, and I just have a really fun time whatever project I'm working on. I especially love horror, but I love working on comedy, and something like The Walking Dead would be great because it is horror, but it is drama also. It was really hard in Silent Night, Deadly Night because, first of all, a woman would always put her shirt on instead of her shorts to go up and get her cat. And I had that, you know, question to the director. He said, well, if you don't if you put your top on, the antlers won't show. So I had to put my shorts on. And then, I don't have a lot of fat around my waist. And so the Santa Claus had to lift me up so many times that I kind of got bruised up in the ribs. And then I had to straddle this like bicycle seat, like metal object up there. And all my weight was on my crotch. So it was like not really comfortable. Plus, the door had been chopped open from Santa, and a lot of that Utah winter was coming through the door there. So it was a little bit cold. Oh, Jason Buckles, I know you. I saw you last 2 weeks ago. Days of the Dead at Days of the Dead in Chicago. I had the hardest time remembering Sorority Babes and the Slime Ball Bolorama because when we filmed it, it was called The Imp. And we had, I had a really fun time on that one because we had to wait till the bowling alley closed at night to film. So it was all night shooting. And it was so funny because I had these boots on and cruelty-free boots, of course. But every time that I would go down the slippery bowling alley thing, I would I'd be running or something, I would slip and fall on my butt. And I'm supposed to be this tough girl, and we had all these fun fight scenes, and I got to ride a motorcycle and be the heroine, and it was just a lot of fun. Michelle and Brink were in it, and we all had a really good time. We all were in, I think it was not San Jose, but somewhere near, no, it was down by San Diego, San Marcos. We were down in San Marcos at a La Cuenta hotel, and we had a really good time just all, being there and staying there the whole, I think we filmed for 7 or 8 days on that with David Dakota. The best thing in attending a con is to meet the people that have watched your movies or have supported you or you're Facebook friends with or have written you through the years. The worst thing I would say is just sometimes the hours. Um, there's not enough hours to really get to meet everybody and say hi and do things because the 3 days fly by really fast. It's usually Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday, and then you're leaving then on a plane, so you don't get to have a cup of coffee with somebody or go out to dinner with someone. You usually just are tired and jet lagged, and so the best part is meeting everyone and meeting the celebrities yourself too that you might really think is a big deal. So that's the two part question. There are roles that I wouldn't do again. In animals, I that was the very first time I had dealt with working with DV or with DVD type recording. Was so used to film, and the script sounded good, but when you transfer it to video, it just doesn't look the same. Like I said, the script was good, but it was just not believable, and I don't think I would work on that one again if I had a chance. Well, when the first time that I felt that I was famous was at a Fangoria convention back in the 80s. And I didn't think anybody would know who I was. I was really scared going to the show and I didn't know, what to do. I was like, yeah, nobody's going to want my autograph. I got there and all of a sudden all these people started coming at me with, autograph this, autograph that. And I said, wait a minute. And I went and I hid in the bathroom and I just started to breathe because I was so scared. I didn't think anyone would know me and I wasn't prepared for it. And I'm shy anyway. So I was like very afraid. And then I composed myself, sat at my table and signed autographs and was thrilled that somebody knew me. It was probably at least 8 months after we filmed the footage from Nightmare Sisters, and then we had to film the footage for the TV version of Nightmare Sisters. So 8 months is a long time. People change their hair, they change weight, they change a lot of things. And luckily, Michelle and Brink had pretty much stayed the same, and I had stayed the same, but we had to go back and try to just fit where we were at that time. I've only had that happen in a couple movies. One was Treasure of the Moon Goddess with Don Calfa, where we were in Manila and we had to go back. We had to go to Mexico, and then from Mexico we went to Manila, and it was years later. So we had to match clothing and going out a door in Mexico and being in Manila when we come out. It was a nightmare. But it was pretty easy for Nightmare Sisters. I like to collect so many things. I like collecting bats. Um, I love bats. I like to collect uh, not real bats. Not, I don't have a cachet of bats in my house flying around, but I have like a bat on my door, and I've got a lot of bat things in my house, bat necklaces, bat stained glass. Um, I don't know. I was painted by Olivia with bats around me. So I don't know. I've got a thing about bats. I'm batty. Oh yes, in Calgary, Canada. It'll be Herschel Gordon Lewis's Slaughterhouse, 5 vignettes, which one I'll direct, and there'll be four other horror icons, which I can't tell you yet, that will be also directing these vignettes. And it will definitely be in Herschel Gordon Lewis's bloody, and of course disturbing. Oh, that's a really good question. A day in the life. I like to sleep as late as I can, but then my dogs get me up and they have their one meal of the day. And then I let them outside. They have their own yard. And then I get ready. I go to the gym about 3 times a week. And I'll go to the gym so I won't procrastinate and not do it. Then I get on the internet and before that, a lot of times I'm tweeting and then checking my Facebook and going on the internet, seeing I have any orders or anybody to say hi to, any news. It's always good to get news that's new and cheerful, like, oh, you just got a part on The Walking Dead. Oh, okay, I'll be there. I'm not far from Atlanta. And I just and then taking the dogs to the park before it becomes really crowded. And then after that's all over, at night watching movies. For some reason, Slumber Party Massacre, like I don't think I was big enough, or big of a name when that came out. I was probably still doing my little extra work, and I didn't even have an agent, or I hadn't taken acting classes yet. So I think that was probably too big of a project for me at the time that I could take on. I would have liked to have been in Aliens, really bad, or Terminator. I would have, bulked up for that. But as for low budget things, I would have liked to have been in. My friend Patty Mullins was in Frankenhooker, and I think that's a great movie. But she does a great job. That would have been a fun movie to be in. Let's see, another low budget one. Um, Another one which is great. Another friend, Camille Keaton, was in I Spit on Your Grave, but she does a great job in that. Those are two movies that would have been fun to be in, and one of my favorite movies, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, would have been fun to be in, but I think I was just a little bit too young for that part then. Oh yeah, I'm not a fan of my own horror films. I get like I know them too well, not by watching them a lot, by just knowing from the script. I think Texas Chainsaw Massacre, When a Stranger Calls, are two of my favorites, and then the older ones, Murder in the Rue Morgue, I love, and all of the Alfred Hitchcock Present, the TV series, and what was the other show that they had? Not Twilight Zone, but let's see. Um, it was something like Twilight Zone, but something else, and it was really scary that was on. But I used to love to stay up and watch all the Alfred Hitchcock Presents. They scared me. The little half an hour series. Oh boy, which showcases my best work. It's a real toss up between if you could mix Savage Streets with Return of the Living Dead and Sorority Babes and the Slimeball Bolorama. I think you'd have the embodiment of my work as like something to show people. As it stands, it's hard to say because I've never been in something that's a true, just real drama where you can show a lot of emotions besides horror, crying, sadness, happiness, well, I guess those are all the emotions that there are. But I would say that if you took those three movies and rolled them up, I think you'd have the comedy also. So those would be three that I'd have to, I can't pick one. No, I'm not. Someone else is writing the part for me. That's writing I'm not really good as a writer because I don't have the patience, but I'm not sure if I can say who the writer is or not, but uh, I am not writing the part that I am going to be playing. Well, I'm not really sure if I'm coming the 2014 Calgary Con because right now I've got another convention that's like wooing me toward them. So I might not be able to make that this year or next year, even though it's right around the corner. Oh boy, I have seen some really bad horror films that I wouldn't recommend lately. it's been so many of these, which I don't like. I mean, some people do like them, obviously, but the paranormal activity movies that I don't know, they drive me crazy because they seem so fake. Um, I can't think of one except the old ones that are good old standbys that I would say, oh, go see it. I'm trying really hard to think of something that was scary, and I really can't think of anything that really made me go, wow, this is a great horror film. Chicago was a blast. I had a really good time, and the time passed so fast in Chicago. I got to meet a lot of people, a lot of gung ho horror people. I got to meet this girl that I met the year before, and she cried. And this year she was brave and came up and wasn't crying. And I got to be with the Return of the Living Dead cast with James and Clue there. And so I had a great time, and Beverly and John and Jewel and Brian and Mikey, and it was just the whole gang was there, and Tom, of course. The only one that wasn't there was Miguel. And we did get to meet um, uh, the guy who died, his brother there, who played Suicide. We got to meet his brother, and his brother didn't really know how much of a success Return of the Living Dead was, and he got to come to the convention, and he was asked for autographs even. The Outer Limits, that's it. Yes, that's a very I don't know. I liked that show a lot. They had like some kind of moral to each story, and it was just a cool thing. I think my favorite zombie film, other than Return of the Living Dead, which I really do like because the zombies think and they are fast and everything, is Shaun of the Dead. I really enjoyed Shaun of the Dead. Even though it's a parody, I really just enjoyed it a lot. It's one of my other favorite zombie films. And then 28, it's 28 Days, I think. 28 Days I really enjoyed too, just that starkness of it all. Oh God, I did not do any acting in school because I was so shy. They would like call on me to read something, and I would just be like, and I'd turn bright red. I didn't make cheerleading. I didn't make drama club. I didn't make glee club. I didn't make anything. I would mouth the words in glee club because I was so afraid that someone would hear me. I didn't do any of that. It was just like something burst when I came from Iowa to LA, and I wasn't known as the shy girl down the road. Just, I guess something happened, and I guess it was something for me to break my fear of being shy, even though I still am shy. But with a script, you've got the words there, and you know exactly what's going to happen, so it doesn't intimidate me as much. Yes, I saw Sinister, and I liked it, but there was just something missing in it. Sinister was a good film, and I think that Sinister was the takeoff of uh, oh shoot, I can't think of the movie, but I did like it, but I wouldn't rate it as like Texas Chainsaw Massacre and all those scary ones to me. Well, everybody wants to work with Norman Reedus, and I want to work with Nicole Kidman. I love her work. I just think she's great. I would love to work with, let's see, who else would be somebody? Oh man, there's so many. It's hard to say. I would like to work with Clu Gallagher. Like he's written a script which he thinks I would be great in, and I would love to work with Clu Gallagher in a movie, or James Karen because he just adds like such delight to a film. I'd like to work with Rob Zombie or Robert Rodriguez as directors, and Quentin Tarantino, who I've known. It would just be a lot of fun to work with a lot of people. Uma Thurman, I love Uma Thurman too. Yes, I can come back to Chicago soon as someone asks me to. Yes, I kind of had an opportunity because I knew the director who's become a big director now, Alan Arkin Arkish, I mean, and he did Rock and Roll High School. Now, I wasn't seasoned enough to go in and do the part that PJ Souls did, but I would have loved to have been in Rock and Roll High School. That would have been, it one of those things that it could have gone that way, but I just wasn't seasoned enough for him to call me in for the lead on that. But and then I was very close to being in Reform School Girls, but I refuse doing it now because it's a cult classic. I wish I would have been in it. My parents didn't, they knew I was doing acting and they didn't care pretty much what I did as long as I wasn't hurting anybody and I was doing what I like to do. And I didn't really bring them to a screening until Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers. And they had the press there. Jason Kinnear was there with E Entertainment, and they were interviewing me, and they got to see me at my glory, with all the paparazzi and everything. And then they were involved with the horror workout because the shower scene and the backyard scene was done at their house in Tahunga, California. And so they didn't give me guidance, but they just they helped me. My mom, that's another part I forgot about. I read for Howard the Duck, and my mom did the duck scenes where I did the girl scenes. So they would help me read scenes and things like that. Oh yeah. Well, I think it was fate that I got into acting because it was just like such a preposterous thing for me to even think that I could be an actress coming from a small town and all that and not having any, you know, theater under my belt or being an extrovert or anything. So it must have been fate that made me this way. And I still like look at myself and I go, "Oh, I'm an actress. Oh, okay." Danielle Harris is great. She's like a really great actress and great face and everything. Melanie Roble is an up and coming scream queen. We did Postmortem America together, and Joe Hollow's, which isn't out yet, Blood Story and Disciples together. Let's see, who else? That's the ones that it's hard being in Florida. I'm not linked to the LA scene right now. So it's hard for me to see. Jessica Cameron is, of course, been a scream queen for quite a while. So those are the ones that I see. And Jessica Cameron made this necklace that I'm wearing. It's the charms with every kind of instrument of torture that you could want. Okay, the most recent project, it's coming out, I think, on the 4th, is Caesar and Caesar and Otto's Christmas Vacation, and that will be out on the 4th of December if I have my wits about me. That's a really fun film that there's a little cameo. I do a homage to Silent Night, Deadly Night. There's also, that's coming out. Let me think. Uh, uh, oh God, what's the name of it? Demonica. Demonica's coming out. It's demons on roller skate. There's uh, a Chainsaw Kiss one, Blood Wings. One called The Hunger, which is I play a mentally uh, tortured woman with my daughter. We get kidnapped. Then there's the comedy musical, The Unquenchable Thirst for Boner Juice. And then what's out now, The Trouble with Barry, which has Michelle and Brink, Cougar Cult Out with Michelle Brink and I, and there's plans in January for Full Moon to do one with Brink, Michelle, and I, and another actress called Trophy Head. Oh, it is that. Okay, I thought for some reason it was this. I was getting it mixed up with Silent Night, Deadly Night. But Caesar and Otto is out. They better go buy it. It's a fun film. Well, thank you for kind of recognizing what it's like to be shy, and I hope whatever you want to do, you're going to make it in what you're going to do. Oh boy. Well, of course, the top dog. That's the one that, not Ron Perlman, um, but the other guy, which I'm drawing a blank on his name right now. But I don't know. There's something, I'm sorry, Ron, if you're listening, but there's something about you that bothers me. I haven't had a chance to watch them this year because I've been gone so much that it's hard for me to even stay up with The Walking Dead. I missed a couple episodes last week traveling, and I always try to stay on top of things, but I haven't gotten into that one yet, but I'm going to this year. Oh, yeah, an American Horror Story is what I'm talking about. I'm going to get into that this year because Last year I just traveled too much. No, I don't realize how much you love me. That's very sweet. Oh, well, on Twitter, on my Facebook, on my fan page Facebook, and look for it on. I'm going to have Linnea Quigley TV, and a lot of cool things are coming out. So to keep abreast of this new directing debut and the horror icons directing also, just watch those media places and you'll see more updates. Well, you guys really made my day, my night, that is. So I really appreciate it. And thank you all for being so gracious and letting me be on and talk with you and chat with you. And I hope to see you all very soon. I'd love to. I'd love to come back. That's so nice. That's so nice to hear. I love it. I love hearing this good stuff. It's good karma, good karma. Okay, I'll see you all soon. Okay, night night.